Bonjour! Bonjour!
No.
Time for bladder check. Check.
So it's a show?
It's a lifestyle.
It's a religion.
My emotions! My emotions!
I'm still French.
Ouais, c'est pas faux.
I'm a woman, Mary. I can be as contrary as I choose.
Non, moi je crois qu'il faut que vous arrêtiez d'essayer de dire des trucs.
Hello, hi, I'm Laura. I'm gonna watch Vinland Saga Season 1, Episode 23. I just watched the Episode 22. If you want to see my reaction video about it, all of my reactions, all of my thoughts, you have the link for this video into the eye, and I'm gonna put the link also for the playlist that I made for Vinland Saga in case you don't know it, in case you're discovering my channel with this video. I've been watching all of Vinland Saga and you can find all of my reaction videos to it on that playlist that I made for Vinland Saga, so you're gonna have all of these reaction videos into the chronological order if you don't want, you know, to have each time to click on each video and maybe to miss one or something like that. You can find all of that on that playlist. Guys, today I'm gonna finish this season 1. I'm anxious about it, but at the same time I'm glad, because I know now that this anime is gonna make things right, in the sense that maybe they're gonna surprise me, maybe they're gonna kill someone that I love, maybe they're gonna do something which is gonna shock me, maybe they're gonna make me mad, but I know that it's gonna be well written, I know that it's gonna be well done on screen, I know that it's gonna be intense, I know that it's gonna be emotional, maybe, like, I don't know what it's gonna be, and I'm expecting some little things to happen, but I'm like, maybe I'm really far from the truth and none of that is gonna happen. I'm gonna tell you later my theories for the end of this season. But I trust now this writer, this anime enough to know that I'm gonna appreciate it no matter what. That they're not gonna disappoint me. That if they're gonna surprise me, it's gonna be the good way. That if they're gonna make me cry, it's gonna be the good way. If they're killing a character that I love, they're gonna make it right. Like, I trust this anime now to do things right like that. It's such a good feeling, you know, when you're watching something, to not be like, what it's gonna be about, are we sure of it, and all. Like, for example, The Walking Dead, The Ones Who Live, that I just finished with you on my channel, I didn't know what it would be, I didn't know if we would have a season 2 or not, I didn't know how they prepared that season 1, so, you know, I was expecting stuff, but at the same time I was like, I don't know where I'm going, and with some mistakes, some big mistakes that they made with the original show, but also with some spin-offs, no, I was a little stressed about it. But right there, I'm not at all, and it's really a good feeling. So yes, for the end of this season 1, I expected to have a duel Askeladd and Thorfinn, but I thought that Thorfinn would win. I was praying for Canute to have enough authority to be able to stop Thorfinn, you know, to not kill Askeladd, and in fact, the last episode was beginning with this duel and Askeladd winning because Thorfinn was so bad during it and all, and the last episode was in fact more to discover that Askeladd killed his own father, and in fact Thorfinn is now like Askeladd, because Askeladd, when he was a kid, he had to have a revenge for one of his parents. He waited a long time to have this revenge, but he managed to have it at the end. The big difference between Askeladd and Thorfinn is the fact that Askeladd managed to do all of that in a clever way, and he was emotionally strong enough, old enough, he matured enough emotionally before that, you know, by taking care of his mother and all, that when it happened, when he prepared his revenge against his dad, he managed to hide his anger, to plan something to have his revenge, to wait for the good time, to hide the fact that he made it so no one would go after him. When Thorfinn, clearly, he doesn't have any patience, He's just blinded by his rage. He's not thinking about his future, about the consequences of doing something like that. And emotionally, he's still a kid. And I loved also the last episode, which just proved me how right I am to think, since, you know, we have Askeladd as a teenager, so episode 5 or 6, to think that, okay, physically he evolved, okay, mentally he evolved, he's more clever now, he's connecting dots about things, people, he can read situations and people really in a good way, but emotionally he's still a kid. He's representing himself as a kid into his dreams and all. When his emotions are involved, he's blinded by this rage because he's still a kid inside of his heart, and that's why in front of Askeladd he was again blinded by this rage, and because of that he couldn't control his emotions, and because of that Askeladd managed really to fight with him. It was the same fight than the ones that they had before, because in front of Askeladd, in front of the guy who killed his father, Thorfinn is that little kid again. And I loved also a lot that we finished this episode with Thorfinn being mad at himself because he didn't win against Askeladd, remembering all of the past, you know, all of his journey, and coming back, you know, the last scene into his mind, it's that moment, him as a kid, making that face, taking that decision that one day he would have his revenge against Askeladd, with that rage inside of his eyes and all. Deep inside, no, not even deep inside, like emotionally, that kid is blocked into that moment. Emotionally, is still right there. And the fact that thinking of that is just screaming his rage again, it's making me think that he's gonna be blocked into that moment, into that phase still for a long time. It's making me sad a little, you know, for Thorfinn, the fact that he can't evolve emotionally. He's not learning anything with the people that he's meeting, with everything which is happening to him. Mentally and physically he's evolving, but emotionally not at all. We'll see if at some point something is gonna help him to grow up emotionally. And for sure, to learn all of that about Askeladd, it was emotional and it was really great. And you know how much I love Askeladd, and to discover that as a kid he suffered all of that, he had to take care of his mother that much, and he managed to kill his own father, but also that he had to kill his own father, who truly never gave him a name. It made me sad also for him, and it made me love him even more. Oh, and also I didn't talk about it during the review of the last episode. That question that Canute asked him, you know, about his true intentions, like, why do you want me to be the king and not you? And Askeladd was like, oh no, it's not my place and all. Canute was right to ask that question, and how Askeladd responded made me think that maybe, in fact, it's not the end of his plan, you know, of Askeladd's plan right there to make Canute the king. I have the impression that it's just one of the steps that he has to take to be the king at some point. He's patient. Maybe he planned also that. We'll see. During this episode, maybe not, but we're gonna see that. What I expect for this episode, you know, the two last ones of this season, for Canute to face his dad, to become the new king, but before that we need to have something about his brother. I want to meet his brother, I want to see the relationship that Canute and his brother they have, and yes, it would be great to have something like that. Are we gonna truly have a fight, Canute against his dad? Maybe not, but a plan. Canute and Askeladd, they talked about it a little, that they need a plan to manage to kill him without anyone knowing that Canute did it. They managed to convince some allies, you know, potential allies, thanks to Thorkell. They managed to make that rumor about the king who wants to kill his own son that was great to convince people after that to follow Canute. So now they're gonna need to do something to kill the king, but how? That's gonna be the question. Let's go for this episode. Remember that if you want to have my Patreon on which you can have a longer reaction part for this episode, like for Vinland Saga, for example, for the last episode I'm gonna put the full reaction part, but it has been, I think, 6 episodes that I'm putting the full reaction part, you know, everything, all of the reaction part on my Patreon, and no matter what, it's without playing with opacity and without cutting that much when I'm not putting the full reaction part, so no matter what, it's interesting, and no matter what, it's interesting because you have 4 episodes of advance on my Patreon, meaning 2 weeks of advance, so it's really a big advantage, you know, if you're following me on my Patreon, and it's the best way to help me, to support me, if you want and if you can, it can be truly appreciated. And when you're subscribing, you know, you have access to all of the videos that I'm gonna post during the month and all of the videos that I posted before that, you know. So if you're subscribing right now, you're gonna have access to all of the videos that I'm gonna post during this month, meaning already the 4 next, 3 or 4 next reaction videos. And you have access also to all of the videos that I posted before, you know. Okay, let's go for this episode. Again, I didn't prepare any tissue. I hope that I'm safe. No opening scene? It can be great. Last time it was Leif being reunited with Thorfinn. Okay, they heard also about that rumor. Can we see around? It counts a lot for you. You will. But I would prefer for someone to eat your food and drink your wine first, you know, before you. Are really the mood around this table, into this room? Are you gonna finally learn from what happened, Thorfinn? Come on. It's not Askeladd. You're gonna bully him? It's too easy to attack him right now. You're not even 10% of him. See? You can be that weak in front of them. You're enough. In front of Askeladd, you're that little kid. Your friend? You want to kill? They all know that, you know, if I know that, all of the elders right there, they know that. Really? That's what your father do. You know, go away, Don't ask for the throne.
次なる戦地アイルランドにおいても存分に振るわれよ。勝てる。王の反応が俺の予測の域を出ている。俺の作戦に
You prepared something?
不老義の旦那いい顔だな。
Cool.
この喧嘩を仕切るのは俺だ。この揃ってる。俺ならやれる。
I love to see him that confident.
この地には未だ王に対する恐れを知らぬ無礼な者どもがおる。
Ah, you did not prepare that.
心中を進める使者を使わした。変わらず連中は二度にわたって跳ねつけおった。彼女の者どもに真の王者の力がどれほどであるかを
Your land, Askeladd.
北の春より進撃する。心得よ諸君。
Askeladd. You're truly doing that for your land. You know, I was doubting of it at some point about him doing things only for his own interest. No, it was truly for your land.
面会だ。
Visitor?
どうでした。
Askeladd or Leif?
殿下のご使者のわけなかろう。ただの船売りだ。
Leif. Okay, 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 I'm not prepared for the emotions, all of that.
トルフィン。
Oh, his tone of voice is so sad.
11年か。どれほど辛い思いをしてきたか。お前の言う通り。わしにはわからん。あの男が生きている限り、心が安らぐことはない。まだ十分じゃないというなら、きっとそうなのだろう。
For you to accept that, I love you so much. You have such a big heart.
今でも昨日のように思い出すんじゃよ。パチパチとはぜる色にうまそうな鍋の匂い。トールス。そして幼いお前の笑顔をな。
I remember it.
昔ブラッタリーの沖でどれほどすさんだ海であろうと、どれほど凍えた海だろうと。
Same for Thors.
船乗りは海と戦っとるんだ。戦士と同じように己の誇りをかけてな。
I love the parallel and for sure the scene, the music.
わしは誇りにかけて誓った。
That you would find
だ
in
からどうあってもお前を故郷のアイスランドへ連れて帰る。トールズに対するわしのけじめだ。
It was not just to find him, it was to make him come back home.
続いてシュレスビヒの将
Oh, my heart just broke a little like...
イーガル殿。そしらぬ風に見えるがな。先ほど一瞬のことです。
talking about Askeladd.
あやつめの弱みにつながる何かがあるやもしれません。
Ah, no, 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 no. We don't want for you to know his weakness.
考えろ。時間がね。春先までに何ができる。
You can do
仕
it.
事でまだまだすみません。ありすぎる。将軍たちを
Yes, really, his brain functioning at 100% right now. Oh, that's also parallel with what Leif just said.
船と殿下を狙いに来るかもしれん。故郷。今さ遥かな西。
Do you remember, at least?
たわわに果実が実り、真っ青な草原が波打つ新天地。
Again, Vinland. To reassure someone who is gonna die, to reassure someone who wants to die, to dream about better days. But right now for you, Thorfinn.
フィンランドだ。
Why talking about
海に戻って
it now?
少し落ち着いたら一緒に彼女を目指そう。
To give him a purpose?
お前も言っていたじゃないか。トールズも行きたがっていたと。トールズも彼女を目指したに違いない。奴隷や戦もない誰もが平和に暮らせるそんな国を作ろう。
And me, I'm sure that he's waiting for you in
フィ
Vinland,
ンランドだ。きっ
in Valhalla. Oh, that picture.
そういや、ウェールズっていやさ、お前、俺に追われて、あそこに逃げ込んだじゃんよ。なんでウェールズ人たちが天人のお前に味方したんだ。
They helped him. Thorkell, even you can understand that if you're praying a little.
あの地は、俺の故郷、俺の国だ。土地は貧しくとも、民は誇り高い、おふくろも愛した国だ。
You're proud of your country, of your own.
この話は誰にも言うんじゃねえぞ。分かってるよ。
In front of everyone. He's gonna find a way, he's gonna find a way. I trust Askeladd with my heart, with everything. With my life, I would trust him with my life. I mean, if he's telling me that he's on my side for that reason, I would trust him with my life until that reason is gonna be done. After that, I have this impression that this episode confirmed what I said during the previous episode. The difference between Askeladd and Thorfinn, like, what they had in common is the fact that they both lost a parent when they were young, or close to, lose one, and they both decided to have their revenge against the guy who did that. The difference is that Askeladd was patient enough, Askeladd was emotionally mature enough to hide his anger, to wait for the right time, to hide the fact that it was him because he was already thinking about the consequences of that murder, and because in fact he had another purpose in mind. It was not his final goal. And right there I have the impression that maybe Thorfinn understood the fact that he's losing in front of Askeladd when clearly he's winning in front of everyone else, because he's that good, he's that strong now that against a random guy he's gonna win. Each time he's gonna win. Against 3 random guys he's gonna win each time. Against a warrior like Thorkell he can win. But against Askeladd, the guy who killed his father, the guy who has all of his anger, is again emotionally a little kid and he can't control himself, his nerves, and he can't win. Maybe he understood that during that moment, fighting these 3 guys, and I think that talking with Leif right there, Leif maybe gave him that other thing that I just said about Askeladd. Like, for now, Thorfinn was just thinking about having his revenge, but I'm pretty sure that he never thought about what about his future after that. Like, first, what about a consequence, the direct consequence of killing Askeladd? Like, Canute is gonna be glad about it, he's gonna be okay with it, everyone is gonna let you do that, are you sure of it? no consequences for that action, and after that, what? You're gonna come back home, you're gonna do what with your life? I'm pretty sure that Thorfinn never thought about all of that. And right there, Leif, in fact, just gave him a bigger purpose than just having that revenge. Leif told him, okay, you want your revenge, you need that revenge. I can understand that, I can accept that. I'm gonna stay with you until you have it, but after that, let's come back home because I made that promise to Thors, and let's find Vinland. And in a way, it just gave to Thorfinn a bigger purpose than just to have a revenge. It just gave to Thorfinn a future, a reason to stay alive, to continue to fight, to not just be focused on Askeladd, and a reason to live, a reason to have a life, a reason to imagine a future, to imagine something that he's gonna do after killing Askeladd. And maybe that's what Thorfinn needed also, to project himself, so he can project himself as an adult, as someone who is gonna have a life, and not as that little kid who just wants that revenge and that's all. Do you understand what I mean? So for that part, I have the impression that this anime confirmed that theory that I had during the previous episode. Leif, for sure, all of what he said to Thorfinn, I love him for that. I love that guy so much for the fact that during all of these years, 11 years, he didn't give up on finding Thorfinn. And seeing Thorfinn like that, he didn't react like just being mad and being like, oh, that's it, I searched you for all of that time, you're just a kid, come with me and all. No, directly he understood that the situation is different, that the kid is different, that he needs to take that in consideration, he needs to take that desire of revenge in consideration, that he has to deal with it. But it doesn't mean that he's gonna give up on Thorfinn. No, he has to stay there for Thorfinn, to continue to help him, but to not give up on his promise to make him come back home. I love so much Leif for that. It just shows that he has such a big fucking heart. I'm gonna be desperate if at some point the guy is dead, you know, being killed. I loved so much all of his speech and all. The fact that he's saying that to Thorfinn, and Thorfinn is like, don't talk about him and all, so Leif is just like, okay, let's move on, and he's talking directly about Vinland. It's really like, each time that they are talking about Vinland, all about that land far away, which is so perfect, with everyone living at peace. No slave, no war, nothing like that. The first time it was to reassure that slave who was dying. That time, you know, when Thorfinn talked about it, it was to reassure that slave who didn't want to live anymore, was desperate about her life. For Askeladd's mother, it was to have that dream about someone coming at some point to save her. Like each time, Vinland, it's about that paradise land which can reassure them, which can make them feel a little comfort and all. And for me, it's such a religious thing, you know, in fact, to dream about a land where everything is perfect and all. And in a way, just replace all of what they're saying about Vinland and make it really the paradise or Valhalla, or, you know, that place after death for everyone who believes. And it's the same, it's clearly the same. And right there for Thorfinn, it's really like, yes, to give him a bigger purpose, something to do into his life. And it was really at the point of his life, like he was desperate, he was so weak and all. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if we're never gonna reach Vinland, you know, we're never gonna discover Vinland, because in fact, Vinland doesn't exist. Vinland is that land, that dream, which is reassuring you, which is comforting you, which is giving you peace, giving you hope, giving you a purpose in life and stuff like that. And really, Vinland is a religious thing. Do you understand what I mean? but not in a... Like, it's not related to religion, because you don't need to believe in God to believe in Vinland, into that place where maybe you can be happy, at peace and stuff like that. Do you understand what I mean? But in our days, it's really something that we can't believe into, and we can't be reassured by that idea, because in fact all lands were discovered on Earth. Do you understand what I mean? But during that period of time, I can understand that maybe some people, they didn't believe in God, in one God or anything like that, but they believed in Vinland, which is kind of a religion. Do you understand what I mean? And the other part of this episode, it was about the king and Canute presenting themselves to the elders, who are all suspecting that something bad is happening between them, who heard about the rumors, all of that thing about giving Mercia to the prince. Clearly that was that offer that he made him earlier, and Canute said that he won't be interested, so I'm wondering about the situation. And then the king saying, okay, so we're gonna attack Wales, and Askeladd reacting like that. Clearly Askeladd prepared all of that into his plan, the fact that the king would give that to the prince and all, but not at all about Wales, and that's really a big issue because it's his home, and clearly he didn't plan that, and clearly he's doing all of that truly for his country, for his home. He truly loves his home, his country. I love that about him. That's a little surprise for me, because I thought that he was more interested by his own interest than truly by his land and all, when in fact, no, really. Floki saw it, told it to the king. It can be bad. We're gonna see in the next episode if it's gonna be bad or not for Askeladd. But I'm pretty sure that he's gonna find a way to escape from that situation. I trust him enough for that. I'm gonna watch the next and final episode of the season right now. For you, it's gonna be in another video. Remember that if you want, on my Patreon, you can already have my reactions and my thoughts about this final episode and about the 3 first episodes of the season 2. If you want all of that advance, you can come on my Patreon and you can have bigger reaction part, if not full reaction part, for all of these episodes. Okay, it's all for you for this video, and it's all for me for now, so bye for now. Bye.
Wait a minute, Doc. Are you telling me that you built a time machine?
Hey.